Hey guys, Will Roundtree, your instructor mentor with the J. Morrison Academy for Credit Mastery. And right now we're going to cover Lesson 10. What are credit trade lines? Now, a lot of times people are asking, what is the quickest way for me to boost my credit score? And for lack of better terms, it literally can be done overnight, figuratively speaking. And so some of those things we're actually going to discuss here in this lesson. And how to get a quick boost, how to ethically, quickly boost your credit score, and different things like that, as well as kind of dispel some of the myths when it comes to adding trade lines to your credit report. Now, there are many different places you can go to, get a quick boost in your credit score, and we talked about it in one of the previous lessons. One of the quickest ways doing it on your own is you can definitely go out there, apply for a secured card. That's where you're putting up your own money, $300 to $500 minimum, taking it to a bank, applying for a bank secured credit card, that is, and they giving you a credit card. Generally, after 12 to 18 months, they will actually convert it to an unsecured card where they give you your money back and it becomes an actual credit card. But the quickest way to get a boost in your credit score is at least setting up a secured credit card, applying for a vendor account, which you can definitely go out there, search the internet, and find that information. You want to definitely make sure you're tuned in. That is also some information that the J. Morrison Academy will also be assisting you guys with in finding those type of accounts to get that quick boost. But one of the quickest ways to boosting your credit score is a term, and it's not a new concept. It's actually been around for quite some time. It's real popular in the housing market, but it's something called piggybacking, or some people call it being an authorized user. Now, a lot of times people kind of are taboo when it comes to piggybacking or utilizing an authorized user for whatever the reason is. And just like we talked about in one of the previous lessons, because they think it may be unethical. Well, just like my analogy, you can have a checking account, be an upstanding citizen, but if you misappropriate that checking account for, illegal, transactions, writing bad fraud checks, and different things like that, the checking account can be misused and become taboo. But if used properly, and of course you always want to consult with, your credit advisor. If you're looking to purchase a home or investment property, you want to speak with your mortgage broker or contact us here at J. Morrison Academy. We'll definitely be able to dissect that for you on how to establish and set up an authorized user account. But this is the quickest way to get a quick boost in your score, even outside of setting up for a secured card, and generally how that works. Okay, so let's take you. This is you. And then let's say you have a friend, a relative, your parents, or whatever the case is. So let's say you have your spouse. We'll use a spouse in this example. Okay? Put some long hair on the spouse. So you being the guy, the spouse, your wife. Now let's say you guys recently got married. You're trying to, the husband is trying to apply for an auto loan. His credit score isn't at the maximum point of where it should be for him to qualify for the best interest rates, which we should have learned in a previous lesson. So what he does is he speaks with his wife and say, can I be an authorized user on your credit card in order for me to go back and apply and get a better interest rate on this auto loan? So how that works is the spouse will then contact the credit card company. So let's say she has a Visa card. It's a $5,000 credit card limit. Okay. Now, what she can do is contact that creditor, have them put the husband on as an authorized user. Now, a couple different things when it comes to that. A lot of times people say, I don't feel comfortable with that, especially if it isn't a spouse or a relative. But the authorized user has limited restriction to that account. They don't get a credit card necessarily sent to them. Now, if you guys live in the same household, of course, you guys share a mailbox or a P.O. box, so of course they'll get a card. But a card will come with their name on it. Now, it's also a good idea to contact that credit card vendor or credit card company or bank to find out what access the individual has as an authorized user. And you can actually limit the access that they have. This way they can't get your credit card information, go online and make purchases or anything like that. But so how this will actually help the gentleman or you, if your spouse adds you as an authorized user, is the spouse has a $5,000 Visa card and has been in good standings for 5 years. So what happens is that 5 years of payment history, and if we remember, payment history is 35% of your credit score. So that payment history will now drive up to your credit profile, and you'll get all of that back history to report on a $5,000 credit card that's been in good standings for 5 years with great payment history. And they also have a good credit card utilization. So obviously anything over 30% is considered maxed out here at the J. Morrison Academy. So we're going to say they use 10% of a balance on that credit card. And if we take that and divide it by the 5, we know that that individual is only spending about $1,000 balance on that credit card, which is a very good interest rate, a very good limit that they're spending to keep their utilization down on that credit card. So the quickest way to get a quick boost in your score, and this is kind of twofold, is piggybacking or becoming an authorized user on a spouse, a friend, a relative, a coworker, anyone that you trust, or of course they have to also trust you to be put as an authorized user on their credit card account, to be able to get that payment history that will now drive up to your credit profile. This is your credit profile, in order for you to get all of that history. Now, can you have multiple authorized user accounts? Absolutely. You can have 4 or 5, as many as you want, especially if you met your spouse and she had really solid credit history prior to you guys joining union. She can actually add you to all of her credit profiles, or he can actually add you to all of his credit profiles, credit cards, and all of that history will now drive up to your personal credit profile. So now on the flip side of that, a couple different things you want to be careful with. Now, if you're looking to find a third-party source, because there are companies out there that will sell you, and they can sell you trade lines, or for lack of better terms, you are renting someone's payment history. Usually it's someone you don't know. Again, there are companies out there that will sell you trade lines. Now, in that case, first of all, I recommend that you go and you do a search on that company. Make sure that they're selling legitimate credit card authorized users or the legitimate trade lines to the consumers. You want to check their Better Business Report. You want to do Google searches, ripoffreport.com, because a lot of times people do become vulnerable. They're just trying to find a quick boost in their score. They may have seen a quick YouTube or read a blurb on the internet and saw, hey, I can go and find a seasoned trade line or authorized user account or do a piggybacking scenario and get a quick boost in my score. So you want to make sure you are going with a third-party company that is ethical, because if you are signing up to be an authorized user on an account, and let's say they have a $5,000 credit line limit, but their utilization is over 50%, you are actually being counterproductive of what you're looking to accomplish with your credit score. Let's say they have a missed payment, and it could have been 6 months ago, and they didn't tell you about it. That missed payment will now show in your credit profile, and we all learned in a previous lesson how detrimental one missed 30-day late payment can be. So it's really important that if you're going to utilize someone that you know, you also adopt those same principles. If you are going to use a third-party company, you adopt these principles. Now, the FICO scoring system, we talked about FICO 9 when it comes to medical debt. FICO 8 scoring system actually can calculate, when it comes to authorized user accounts versus actual primary accounts, which is what we're going to discuss. And so primary accounts, those are accounts that you actually own. An authorized user account is credit history that you're renting, that you're borrowing from someone. So generally, when you're trying to improve your credit score to go and apply for a home loan or a mortgage, the FICO 8 scoring system, the algorithms are going to be able to calculate that. And generally, they like to see a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you intend on applying and purchasing any authorized user accounts or utilizing a friend, family, or a coworker, or whoever the case may be, for every authorized user account, you want to make sure you try to set up a primary account. And there's a couple different things we're going to cover that talks about vendor accounts. Of course, you still have the secure card method, and pulling your credit score, you may actually already qualify for your own credit card. But if you never pull your own credit reports, you would never know that you don't qualify. So, and again, as we learned also in the previous lesson, when it comes to trying to apply for FHA home loan, they generally want to see at least a minimum of 3 trade lines reporting. So not only will this help you get a quick boost in your score if you're borrowing someone's positive payment history, but it'll also help you to qualify for that home loan or mortgage, especially if you have a thin credit profile. So just to recap, quick boost in your credit score, you can either piggyback or use an authorized user. The FICO 8 scoring system has already calculated the algorithm to be able to figure out an authorized user from a primary account. You want to make sure that you use someone that has an authorized user account that you'll be utilizing. They have great payment history, the length of the credit, low credit card utilization, that they don't have any missed payments, and you want to make sure that you have a good product mix of primary accounts as well as authorized user accounts. Again, if you adopt these principles and learn more about how trade lines can actually be beneficial for your credit profile, you'll be well on your way to that elusive 800 plus credit score. And again, here at the J. Morrison Academy, we will be able to provide you some tools and resources to show you where you can be able to receive some of these vendor trade line accounts, secured cards, and authorized user accounts. So again, my name is Will Roundtree, your instructor mentor for Credit Mastery, Lesson 10 on what are credit trade lines.